What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about the latest 8K document that was submitted, break it down for you what it's truly saying, and if investors need to worry or not. So I'll break it down. And also, I want to discuss this upcoming Q4 earnings on potentially how there might be something said there that would be very oddly positive. So I'm going to break it down for you. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So as you can see, on February the 1st, there was a new 8K document submitted. And in this 8K document, they talk on how there was a vote of both Class A and B stockholders to raise the number of authorized shares from 400 million to 15 billion. And this was done on July 22nd and 23rd, 2021. So again, that's kind of the breakdown of that. But it does mention that Section 242B sub 2 of the Delaware General Corporation Law basically says that Class B shareholders were not really intended or supposed to vote on that. And it was only supposed to be Class A stockholders, as it even does say right here. So the 242B sub 2. So the stockholders of the outstanding shares of a class shall be entitled to vote as a class upon a proposed amendment. So obviously it says a little bit more than that, but it does talk on several things just in the first sentence, class. So keep in mind when it's going back over here, there's Class A and Class B. So basically they had to be separate. In this document, it does say the next steps are they're going to be going to court to see if they can approve this vote that did happen on July 22nd and 23rd. I do anticipate the court to actually pass it because it does say right here, to date, no stockholder has given the company notice of any allegations that the company's shareholders are unauthorized. So clearly nobody's even noticed, to be fully honest. So if the court does approve it, then life will go on as we didn't really know anything happened. But if they do unfortunately deny it for whatever reason, then there will be a lot of domino effects kind of affecting Lucid. And it does even state that right here. A significant number of additional shares of Class A common stock issuable upon conversion, exercise, or settlement of outstanding convertible notes, private placement warrants, stock options, and restricted stock units. So again, it kind of also incorporates this recent 2022 shareholder meeting. Proposal number 4, there was that vote as far as executive compensation, various things like that, which again, this was passed. So it's going to have a little bit more of a domino effect because potentially all of these things behind the scenes that is in regards to what I just mentioned would be very much affected. But like I said, I don't anticipate the court to really deny it because of this snippet right here on how nobody's really even noticed. So again, there will be a little bit more of an issue if it does get denied, but most likely I think it is going to get passed. So even if you didn't even notice this 8K document was ever submitted, you probably wouldn't know any different. So again, I think bigger picture, this is absolutely nothing, not a good catalyst, not a negative, it's just neutral. It's just there. So again, let me know your thoughts on that. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And so moving on from here though, there's been a little bit more of a growing trend among growth stocks, especially in a higher interest rate environment, and inflation's been running still very much rampant. It has started to curb a little bit, but still relatively high. There's been a common trend of layoffs. And of course, that's very healthy for a stock in general. Obviously, short-term mentality is not necessarily seen as positive, but as you can see, Rivian is cutting roughly about 6% of their employees, and that is because of what they're citing, price war. And I have brought up the price war in the past as far as the used car sales are starting to really pop potentially, so it's going down. A lot of new car sales to keep up with demand, they're having to cut their prices. Tesla, of course, was one of the first ones to actually start doing that, and Lucid's done some kind of scenarios that are cutting of prices, such as $7,500 lease discount, and they also are offering employee discounts. I believe that's in the sum of around $18,000. But again, Lucid hasn't gone and done a full-on cut across all of their tiers. But when it comes down to it though, it's very similar as far as employees to Rivian. So of course, during the upcoming earnings, they might actually lay some staff off or at least announce it, which in general can be perceived as a negative, and also a positive. A positive is, I just want to break it down for you and what I mean by that. So as you can see right here, this is Lucid's as far as their evaluation. And over year, they have increased roughly about 79% of staff. So around 3,400-ish employees. And just wanted to put that in perspective, because when it comes down to efficiency, you want to see how much actually an employee is benefiting the company. So as you can see right here, so estimated revenue per employee is $1,287, which of course is pretty good as to start off. But I just want to put that in comparison and show you this. So under Tesla, per employee, they are basically generating revenue in the sum of almost about $500,000. Massive difference. And of course, Tesla's gone through several different layoffs over its decade, give or take. And I think that is very healthy, because especially more so in the company's first year of operations, because in the first year of operations, this is where you're getting very excited. You really expand at a fast rate, and sometimes you expand too fast in areas that you potentially don't want to. So I think this is going to be very profitable and beneficial if they actually do have any layoffs. I know that kind of sounds morbid, and I apologize for that, but in the long-term aspect of Lucid, I think it is going to be very much beneficial if they do lay off staff, because 3,400 employees, and I think hopefully we'll have a little bit more clarity on the upcoming earnings on how many employees they have, but clearly there's going to be a lot of unnecessary positions. But of course, I could be completely wrong about that. Just to compare, as you can see right here, employee growth. And Tesla is 21%, Rivian 74%. So like I said, very close to the 79% for Lucid. And Rivian, like I mentioned, they're laying off 6% staff. So that might be a very similar kind of circumstance for Lucid. And previously, Lucid's actually never laid off any staff whatsoever. So during layoffs in the past, it's been everyone basically, with the exception of Lucid. But keep in mind, during that time frame, Lucid was really ramping up very fast. They were trying to do a lot of different things. They were clearly working on the Sapphire behind the scenes that they didn't really let anyone know about. But even more so with Polestar, 116%. And I did see some minor things on StockTwits that people are starting to assume that Polestar will also lay off some staff as well. So I think it is just the new nature of where things are going, because right now with higher interest rates and inflation, a lot of companies need to cut unnecessary expenses. So I think this is going to be one very much positive thing for Lucid. Of course, like I said, that does sound very morbid, and I completely apologize, but I think long term that is going to be very good for Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.